So last day discussion was about klystron amplifier. So how this klystron is taking the amplification from an low amplitude RF signal. So how it has been amplified. So we have seen that due to the modulation, current modulation, the electrons are been appearing as a bunch in the second cavity resonator. Okay, so these bunches have been formed depending upon the RF input frequency, because that frequency will produce certain resonance inside the cavity, and that resonance will has this kind of fields, either this electric field in this direction or in the opposite direction of this electron beam. So depending upon the direction of that electric field being exist in the gap of that cavity resonator, we can have the acceleration or deceleration. So accelerated electrons moves faster than the decelerated electrons, so they have been catching all those late electrons, or you can say slower velocity electrons. They have been overtake all of them, and as a whole they have been forming bunch, and this second cavity is placed at a certain distance, so that the bunches, when they have been reaching that cavity, has the maximum number of electrons in that bunch. Okay, so while they have been appearing as a bunch in the second cavity and some electrons are been appearing without bunch, so again some oscillation is been created in that cavity gap, and it again produces the same resonance because these two cavities are same. So they have been creating the same oscillation, and that oscillation will produce certain electric field, and electric field will produce certain magnetic field, and that magnetic field has been producing certain current which has been taken out from that probe, coaxial probe. So that electric field, if it is in the direction, in the opposite direction, then that will be going in that direction, that is accelerated, and if it is in the opposite direction, again they will be decelerated, and finally they have been taken out this energy from those bunches which have been higher compared to these electrons which have been appearing without bunch in that cavity gap, and they have been taken out, and finally they have been taken by the collector. So let us see how this, for single cycle, how these bunches are formed depending upon the velocity when they have been accelerated and decelerated. So let us consider a single cycle here for our analysis purpose. Let us take a single cycle, and for that cycle let us see how these bunches are formed. It is positive half, it is here negative half. Okay, okay, let me draw those things again manually. Okay, so let us consider this single cycle which is acting upon this gap A, because this RF input has been taken into this input cavity, that is a buncher cavity. So let us consider this is a single cycle which has been acting upon the ongoing electron beam. Okay, so when this positive half is coming across this gap, so it is in this direction, it is along the direction of the electron beam. So what will happen, the electrons are decelerated. So this one will be in the opposite direction, so they will be accelerated, rather they are decelerated. So this positive half, let us, if we have been considering in this way, so for this positive half obviously they will get attracted, so they will be accelerated. But let us consider they starts their journey quite late compared to the electrons which have been appearing at this gap at the potential when it is 0. So for this cycle, so many cycles have been going on through this gap, the interaction has been continuously going on. So let us consider we are having three kinds of electrons. One is reference electron, one is late electron, one is early electron. Okay, so if you have been considering the reference electron, these are the electrons which are been appearing at that gap when the RF input is having 0 potential, that is B prime. These are the reference electrons. So obviously these electrons will be not affected by this RF input. So whatever the nominal velocity this electron beam is having, that will take that same velocity and they will move forward. They will move forward from this gap. They have been going with the reference velocity, that is V naught. So we'll see what is the expression of this V naught. So the reference electron are those electrons which have been moving with unchanged velocity. There is no effect of this RF input on those electrons. Now let us consider some electrons have been appearing after those reference electrons. They are quite late in the sense they have been appearing after the reference electron, but when they have been appearing at that gap is having the positive potential of the RF input. When they have been appearing after the reference electrons on this electron beam, means reference electron has been already passed out from that gap. After this, thus electrons which have been appearing at this gap, they face the positive potential of the RF input. So as a consequence, they will get accelerated. But they are late in the sense they have been coming after the reference electrons, but they found the positive potential of that RF input. So what will happen? They will get accelerated. So their velocity will be quite higher than the reference velocity, that is V naught. Their velocity will be quite higher than the reference velocity. Now if we consider some electron which are appearing before the reference electron, that is EE, early electron, they have been appearing at this gap before those reference electron, that is the electrons which have been moving with unchanged velocity. So when they have been appearing before the reference electron, they found some negative potential exists, and in that gap some negative potential exists. So as a consequence, what will happen? They will get decelerated. They have been repelled, so they will get decelerated because they found some negative potential exists on that gap. But they have been appearing before the reference electron as well as before the late electron. So they will move with a velocity which is lesser than the reference velocity V naught, but they have been appearing before the reference electron and early electron. So let us consider first the electron number 1 which is appearing at this gap when the gap voltage is negative. So they will decelerate, so they starts moving. After that electron, the electron 2 which is appearing, it founds 0 potential, so they will move with the reference velocity, but it appears after the early electron. Now electron number 3 which appears at that gap, it found the positive potential. So when it found the positive potential, it will accelerate it. So number 1, when it goes out of that gap, when number 2 comes, so obviously it has already traveled some path, but though it is decelerated, but it has already traveled some distance in that drift space. Now after that, when reference electron appears, its velocity is higher than the late electron, but it is appearing after the early electron. So when they have been moving in that drift space, so obviously that reference electron can move comparatively a little higher velocity with compared to the late electron. Now when third electron comes, it has the velocity which is the highest among all three of them, but it appears at the last. So you just think of three peoples are been competing with each other in a race. So first person who has started its journey, who has debuted first, who has been started first, but he is moving with lesser velocity. So after that, second person who has started, his velocity is quite higher compared to the first person. Third person who has been started its journey last, but it has the highest velocity. So obviously one time will come when all three of them will meet at a certain point. So while they have been drifting in that drift space with different velocities and started their journey at different time, one time will come in that drift velocity when they will meet with each other. So that meeting will create a bunch. So that bunch appears at that gap B. So late electron moves with lower velocity, reference electron moves with nominal velocity. So this is the early electron, this is the reference electron, this is the late electron which is moving with the highest velocity. So all of them are been reaching at that point at the same time, forming a bunch. That is how the bunches are been formed. So three kinds of electrons are there: early electron, reference electron, late electron. Early electrons is having the lowest velocity, reference electron is having the nominal velocity, late electron is having the highest velocity. So while they have been crossing some distance, while they have been traveling some distance, some length, so while they have been going on that path, they will meet at a certain point and they will form a bunch. So obviously, as the electron beam is there, there is not at all a single electron or two electrons, there are so many electrons. So all of them, when they have been meeting at a certain point, they will form a bunch of several electrons. Okay, so that is the bunching point. So our bunching limit is limited to positive potential, positive peak to the negative peak. So positive peak will give you the fastest electron, negative peak will give you the slowest electrons, and that reference point will be the zero potential point. So these are the different times by which they will travel this drift space. So obviously for the late electron it will require the least amount of time. Then the time requires, it will be for the reference electron which is higher than this late electron, and this is for the early electron. But they have been meeting at the same point by taking different electrons. So early electron takes highest, then reference electron, then late electron. So if we are having the nominal velocity for the reference electron, late electron will having the highest velocity and early electron will have the slowest or the least velocity. So this is the position of the gap A, where they have been affected by this potential, and the bunch which has been appeared at the gap B. This is the gap B. Clear? At this gap they have been interacted with this RF input. So at that gap A, someone has been denoted as an early electron, reference electron or late electron. But when they have been reaching the gap B, all of them all together forming the bunch. Clear? So this is the bunching limit, starting from the positive half, peak of the positive half, and going up to the negative half, that peak of the negative half. So during this positive half it is accelerated, during the negative half it is decelerated. Clear? Any doubt on this? Anyone having any doubt? Clear? So there is certain operation, some theoretical part is there. I will give the scan copy of that. So let us move to the mathematical analysis for this klystron. So let us keep that theoretical part. What I have been explained here, the same thing has been written. So let us move forward with the mathematical analysis. Okay, so what we have, we can say we are having two things mainly where the interaction is going on and where it has been collected. One is buncher cavity, one is catcher cavity. So let us take, this is the buncher cavity. This one is the catcher cavity. So some input has been given and from here it has been taken out. So we can say the electrons have been moving in this direction. This is the beam. Some velocity it is having, v0. So this gap is of d. This gap is same as d. This drift space is having the length of L. So let us consider when it enters, it is the time t0. When it comes out of this gap 1, it is t1. When it enters at the gap B, it is t2. When it comes out, it is t3. So if we consider it is 0 position, it is d position. So this part will be L plus d and this one will be L plus 2d. This is the buncher cavity. This is the catcher cavity. So this is the velocity. Let us write with small v, v0. So let the DC voltage between cathode and anode be v0, the DC voltage between the cathode and anode where the electron beams have been coming out, and v0 be the velocity of electron. L be the drift space length and RF input signal to be amplified by the klystron be Vs. So this Vs signal which has been given into that buncher cavity, which will going to amplify, right? So this Vs will going to be amplified when it has been collected from this catcher cavity. Now from kinetic energy of electron, what we know? Electron, that is half mv square, that is EV, energy electron charge into the voltage V naught is equals to half m mass into velocity, that is half mv square, that is the kinetic velocity. So what is this V naught? We can easily find out this reference velocity. It is twice e V naught by m root over of this. So it is the reference velocity. It has been moving with the voltage which exists to generate those electron beam, that is V naught. It is the voltage between the cathode and anode. So from that cathode it has been generated and it is collected from the anode. So the closed circuit is formed. So V naught is the voltage, or the some battery has been connected. So how much its numerical value? It is coming out as 0.593 into 10 to the power 6 root over of V naught meter per second, right? So this V naught we need to specify for a certain operation, and this RF input, it is an AC input with quite higher frequency. Let us consider Vs is equals to V1 sin omega t. So what is this V naught? Sorry, V1. V1 is the amplitude of the signal. Amplitude of the signal. Which signal? RF signal. Amplitude of the RF signal, and this V1 is quite less than V naught. This V1, the RF signal which we are going to amplify, that is having the amplitude quite lesser than the voltage, DC voltage, which has been applied between the cathode and anode. Now energy of the electron, at the time of leaving Buncher cavity. So the energy of the electron at the time of leaving the Buncher cavity. So when the electrons have been leaving this Buncher cavity, they have already interacted with this RF input, right? They have already interacted with this RF input. Now after the interaction, the velocity V naught will change. Some will become early electron, some will become late electron, and there will be also some reference electron, but the velocity will not remain same. So what we can write? Half m V1 square. It has the interaction with this RF input as well. So previously the energy was E into V naught. Now it will become E into Vs also. So we will write V naught plus V1 sin omega t, because it has already interacted with the RF input. So from here we can find out this V1 is equals to root over of twice E V naught plus V1 sin omega t by m. So we can write therefore V1 is equals to root over of twice E V naught by m into 1 plus V1 by V naught into sin omega T1. Why it is T1? Because at T1 it comes out of the Buncher cavity. So we need to put it as T1. At that time the electrons have been coming out of that Buncher cavity and it has already interacted. Since this V1 amplitude of the RF input is less than V0. So we can write this V1, this modified velocity, is equals to V0 into 1 plus V1 by V0 sine omega t1 whole to the power half. So if we expand this one binomially, then we can neglect the higher order terms because this will become quite smaller. So expanding binomially and neglecting higher order terms, or higher order or higher powers of sine omega t. Okay, so there is no problem, higher order terms. So this V1 will become V0 1 plus V1 by twice V0 sine omega t1. Now again, since V1 is less than V0, the average transit time through the Buncher gap distance d, this Buncher gap distance d is given by, so what is the average transit time? Because there are three types of electrons, one is late, one is reference electron, one is early electron. So three types of electrons. So if this voltage of the RF input, if it is quite smaller compared to the cathode to anode voltage, so obviously if the cathode to anode voltage is quite higher, so obviously electron beam itself will have the quite higher velocity. Now if that RF input is having very negligible velocity, so interaction can't have that much of effect in changing the velocity of those high mobility electrons, because they are already been generated with quite higher energy. So what is the average transit time, or what is the average time to cross this gap with these three kinds of electrons if this RF input is having quite negligible voltage compared to the anode to cathode voltage? So let us given this one transit time given by tau, approximately it is d by V0. We have been taken approximately all the electrons will have the reference velocity, because the RF input is having quite negligible amount of voltage. So if the electrons are get interacted, so how much is the modification in their velocity? That is quite negligible, that is quite smaller in consideration. Let us consider. Okay, so we have taken it is V0 only. So what is that time? Time requires T1 minus T0. T1 minus T0, that is the time it requires. Now there is a term known as average gap transit angle. So that is the time it requires. So if we are having an sinusoidal input, so within this time how much phase is been covered by the electrons? So what is that? I am just telling you, average, just try to understand, average gap transit angle, average gap transit angle, that is theta g is equals to omega into tau. So what is that? Let us take a sinusoidal input for this RF input. Let us take the sinusoidal case, sinusoidal signals which has been going through these gaps. So let us consider some signal like this. Let us consider it is Vs, the maximum amplitude is V1. Now let us consider, as we have been considered that the average time requires for the electrons. What are those electrons? Three kind of electrons to pass or to came out of this gap A. It requires tau time. Now obviously within that time the RF input is continuously appearing at that gap, right? Just try to understand. The electron beam is continuously passing through this gap. Now the RF input is also continuously given to that gap to have the interaction between them. Now if three kinds of electrons which we have considered, if they requires a average time of tau, within that time period what is the signal been appearing at that gap? So let us consider that tau time period. Within that time period, that is from T0 to T1, the signal which appears at the gap, that is from this part to this part, that is, it is your T0, it is your T1. So this gap is D, means that time period within which all of the three kinds of electrons are been passing through this gap, when they are been interacted with the RF input, at that time the RF input is having this much of signal in that gap for that time period tau. So that is what is known as transit angle, gap transit angle, theta g. So that is the amount of theta g. If we have been going with the phase, what is the phase been maintained by that signal within that time period, that is what is the theta g. So within that theta g or that portion of the signal, all of the three electrons are interacted with the RF input. All of the three kinds of electrons are interacted with that RF input. So what is that? That is known as average gap transit angle or gap transit angle. That is omega tau. Within that time period, when all of the three kinds of electrons are been passing through this gap, so what is the portion or how much portion of the RF input has been appearing? That is what. Okay. So at T1 they have been going out of the buncher grids. So we can write this one approximately as omega d by V naught, or simply omega T1 minus T naught. So within that time period, this portion of the signal is interacted with all the three kinds of electrons. So we can say this is the signal voltage in the buncher gap. So this is the voltage, this is the limit starting from 0 and going up to V1 maximum. Let us consider. So that is the voltage which has been maintained within this time period. Signal voltage in the buncher gap. Clear? Now, what is the average voltage been maintained within that gap within this time period? How we can take out? We can take out by doing the integration. Average microwave voltage in the buncher gap for this time period. So we have seen this is the portion of the signal is appeared at that gap within this time period. So what is the average voltage been maintained? It is from 0 and going up to V1. Let us consider. So what is the average voltage? So we can take out by taking the average of that by taking the integration. The average microwave voltage in the Bancher gap. That is Vs is equals to integrated over that time period, tau integration over t0 to t1 v1 sin omega t dt. So it is coming out as minus of v1 by omega tau cos of omega t1 minus cos of omega t0. Fine. So what we know, this theta g is equals to omega tau, which is approximately omega t1 minus t0, which is omega d by v0. So we can write down this one as omega t1 is equals to omega t0 plus omega d by v0. So we can replace omega t1 by this value. So therefore Vs is equals to v1 by omega tau cos of, we are taking this one minus inside, so cos of omega t0 minus cos of omega t0 plus omega d by v0. Now let us do little bit modification. Let omega t0 plus omega d by twice of v0 is equals to omega t0 plus this omega d by v0, it is the theta g by 2, which is equals to a, and omega d by twice v0, which is simply theta g by 2 is equals to b. So we are using the trigonometric identity cos of a minus b. What is that? Cos of a minus b minus of cos of a plus b, that is twice sin a sin b. We are going to use this identity over here. So we can write this Vs is equals to v1 by omega tau cos of omega t0 plus omega d by twice v0 minus omega d by twice v0. For this case, here we have written like this. Sorry, this one should be first bracket minus cos of omega t0 plus omega d by twice v0 plus omega d by twice v0. So it is cos of a minus b minus of cos of a plus b. So we can write this one as twice of sin a sin b. So that one will be v1. I am just writing with a little bit modification. That is twice of v1 by omega tau. So that tau can be replaced with d by v0. So I am just taking this 2 in the numerator like this, omega d by twice of v0, to have the this kind of similarity, that is sin omega d by twice v0 into sin omega t0 plus omega d by twice of v0. So this one can be written as v1 sin omega d by twice of v0 by omega d by twice of v0 into sin omega t0 plus omega d by twice of v0. So this is theta g by 2. So sin theta g by 2 by theta g by 2. V1 sin of theta g by 2 by theta g by 2 into sin omega t naught plus theta g by 2. So this term sin theta g by 2 by theta g by 2, it is represented by an value or some parameter known as beta I. Beta I is equals to sin of theta g by 2 by theta g by 2, which is known as beam coupling coefficient of the input cavity. Beam coupling coefficient of the input cavity. So how much beam can able to get coupled with the input RF signal. So this parameter will defines how much beam is get coupled or interacted with the RF signal. Now if we look into this parameter, let us consider if we increase the gap. So normally if we look into the diagram, that is increasing this gap, we can have the increased amount of interaction with the RF signal, because so many numbers of electrons will get interacted with increasing this gap. That is what our normal concept says, that increasing this gap will has the increased amount of interaction between the electron beam and the RF signal, right? But if we look into this expression, what it says, increasing the gap transit angle, that is what increasing the gap, theta g, decreases the coupling. If we increase this theta g, then it will decrease the coupling between the electron beam and the buncher cavity. So it appears reverse. So our normal concept says if we increase the gap, more numbers of electrons will interact. But here from this expression it has the indication that increasing the gap transit angle, this theta g, will decrease the coupling between the electron beam and the buncher cavity. That is, velocity modulation of the beam for a given microwave signal is decreased. So what is that velocity modulation? Velocity modulation is that changing of the velocity with respect to the RF input. So whose velocity is changing? Electron beam velocity is changing with respect to the RF input. That is what the modulation, one parameter is changing with respect to the another parameter. So here the velocity is changing, that is what the velocity modulation is. So if we increasing the gap transit angle theta g decreases the coupling. If theta g increases, this parameter beta I will decrease. Between the electron beam and the buncher cavity. That is the velocity modulation of the beam for a given microwave signal is decreased. Now, what is the exit velocity? When those electrons are been coming out of this buncher gap, what will be the exit velocity? That can also be found, right? So that is the Vs, that is the average voltage been maintained within that transit angle or within that time period. So let us go with the exit velocity immediately after the velocity modulation. the exit velocity. From the Buncher gap. That is half m v1t, because it is depending upon the time, is equals to E v naught plus Vs. Now we know what is that Vs. Vs is beta I v1 sin omega t naught plus theta g by 2. So what is this v1t? Root over of twice E by m v naught beta I v1 sin omega t naught plus theta g by 2, or we can write twice E by m. If we take this v naught common, then it will be 1 plus beta I v1 by v naught sin omega t naught theta g by 2. So this parameter beta I v1 by v naught is called the depth of velocity modulation. The factor beta I v1 by v naught is called the depth of velocity modulation, right? So increasing the voltage of the RF signal will have the higher amount of velocity modulation, or decreasing the cathode voltage will also have the higher amount of velocity modulation. Clear?